Give me a soundbite.
I don't have one. What are we doing out back?
What do you mean?
I hear trucks.
Oh, I don't know. I thought I've heard trucks all day, but every time I go out there, there's nobody there.
What's Cody doing?
Going to Josh's to help him move something.
Oh, okay. Oh man, I got plenty. Oh, it's not 100% not a lot of room.
Help me, corona1. corona1canobi.
You're my only hope.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Tiny house mayhem?
I like tiny house mayhem.
Is there some fucking tiny house trauma?
There's always tiny house drama.
Tiny house triage?
There's always, no. I mean, I don't want to say there's drama. It's good. The plumbing gets. If the plumbing got done today, then
Jeff's learning.
I'm happy about the tiny house.
Jeff's learning about tiny house Airbnb.
Yeah.
I think that's the move, man.
It is the move. Okay, so my mother has come to move with me, or come live with me, sorry, and she's very independent. Like, she's been on her own for 20 years. So she's very independent. And she does not want to live in the house and be governed by my wife.
Is it your wife or is it you?
No, it's really, Gina.
But it's for her good. It's for her own good.
Gina keeps a tight ship. She keeps a tight ship. You are not, like, I don't know where the silverware is in the house. Not because I crack the whip on Gina, because Gina does not want me messing around in the kitchen, period. So, like, when she leaves...
Not because she doesn't want you in there, because she feels that you do other shit.
Yeah, so, like, when she leaves, I starve to death. Like, there was literally a time when she left where I had to conference call her for an hour to try and figure out where the can opener was in the house. Because I'm eating fucking beans and weenies and MREs while she's gone.
You have concrete at your house?
I do have concrete at my house.
You don't know the concrete trick?
I think it was snowing at the time or something. I was just more mad that there should be 10. I should literally just open a drawer and be able to find a can opener. That's one of those things. So I immediately got on the internet and bought 400 P38s and just sprinkled them.
Have you not seen the big P38s,
yeah.
The super dupers? And then there's the other one, the swing line or whatever. You want that like you can mount it on a counter and it folds out. Mm-hmm. Can openers are not made the way can openers used to be made, and they're all fucking from China. Even the U.S. company. There's all these articles on the survival forums and shit, just about can openers. And these threads go years long, fucking hundreds of pages on can openers. It's like looking at all the shit on fuel cans, and all the shit on fuel cans. It all goes back to the siphon, right? When really, you shouldn't be using not the siphon, but the nozzle. You shouldn't be using the bullshit. Every problem we have is around the nozzle. You shouldn't be using the nozzle anyways.
Yeah.
So,
tiny house. I know a lot more about tiny houses now, so do your due diligence. This was kind of an emergency thing. And the issue with the tiny house is, outside of going to a place that has already got one made completely, we had an Amish company build ours. They did a great job. But there's a lot of things that you don't think about when you're doing it. Like, because it's smaller than a normal house, the window sizes, placement of certain things. So it's definitely been a learning experience.
for instance,
So, like, windows. So when I went into the tiny house, I wasn't thinking tiny house. I was thinking, like, okay, so we open the doors and I go in and I'm walking around and Gina keeps going, man, those doors are not the right size. You're almost hitting the top of the door frame. I'm like, no, doors are standard size. They're all the same size. They didn't make mini doors to put in the mini house, which I'm totally wrong. They made mini doors. So the doors are shorter.
how are you gonna get a couch in?
We had double doors put on the front.
Okay.
So the doors are shorter, and then the place has got a lot of light and everything, and I'm not even thinking about the windows. The plumbers come and they go, I'm like, hey, we want the kitchen sink underneath these windows. And he's like, standard sink height is whatever standard sink height. And he goes, these windows are lower because the roof is lower in here. And I'm like, Well, that makes sense. The outer walls are shorter because it's a fucking tiny house. So just little shit things like that. And then when you measure on the interior of so we're setting up this house with measurements, and we're using the overall size of the house. So it's a 12 by 32. So when we were measuring things off, we were measuring 12 like we had 12 feet. We don't have 12 feet because there's 6 inches on the walls. So you just little shit like that.
It's like when you frame out, like everybody wants to do these shipping containers. Neat idea. It doesn't save you any money doing a shipping container. You still have to stud it. You still have to insulate it. And then you have to build a subfloor. You have to do all this shit. So your 8-foot wide shipping container, you end up with like 6.5 feet of shipping container.
Yeah.
There's definitely not a cost advantage to doing it. But I think like there's all these rental sites, right? Like you can do Airbnb for a tiny home. You can do Airbnb for a shed converted to a tiny home.
Yeah.
And then they have like these camping Airbnb sites for people that just want to come and stay in a shed someplace and not have running water. All kinds of shit.
Really popular. So I know they do it in San Francisco, but really popular around big concert venues. So if you have a place that has a concert venue, if you look up Airbnb, guaranteed there are people that are like across the street or right next door that have a fucking tent in their backyard for people to Airbnb those tents so you can go to the concert.
Yeah, there's places where they can just rent a spot to come with their trailer, or they can rent a spot to camp in a tent or a yurt or a tarp or whatever. Maybe we do that. Maybe we run like fucking sewing classes and do Airbnb in the tiny homes.
We just put tents out there for them.
Well, I mean, we've got the fucking building.
Yeah, but it'd be cooler if we just not even put together tents. Just tents.
Here's your tent.
Here's your tent. You can go out in the woods.
Each one's missing something.
Yeah, you
fabricate.
Each one is missing something. You have to borrow it from your buddy.
Okay. Coronavirus.
What's
your take?
Virus 19. I mean, my take is the Chinese still live in the 18th century in a lot of places. So there's a lot of places where they're doing shit that is not up to code, not up to standard, for the most part.
Shithole.
Yeah, kind of shithole. I mean, they still operate wet markets, which you cannot operate here in the United States for the most part.
That's what I wanted to go see, was the
wet markets.
Yeah,
it's
what I want to see in Thailand. And shit.
It's very dirty.
That's how I would expect their prostitutes probably are.
It's very dirty. So,
I would think you could be like, there's a brothel, and then right next door is a wet market.
I think it's possible.
And you can buy AK-47s in the alley.
I didn't see any AK-47s for sale. I would have bought one. I couldn't have brought it back, but I would have bought one just to have the experience.
Just for the photos.
Yeah, I mean, the issue with this virus is it's technically not. It's new as in transmission wise, but it's a flu. If you go and buy a can of Lysol and you look at the back of the can of Lysol on there, it will say Convair virus, that it kills that virus.
It's also, your dogs have been catching it for fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
They have a vaccination for it.
But
not the exact, it's a mutation.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's the problem, is this is a mutation of something that kind of already existed. So a little bit of a mutation. It's not spreading as fast as people would make you think it is. It's not killing as many people as you think it is. So right now, if you look at the death toll, the overall death toll, more people have died from regular flu than they have died from this virus. Not to say it can't get worse. It could wholeheartedly get worse. It's just at this current time, more people are just dying from regular flu than they're dying from this outbreak. The issue with this outbreak is the incubation time and being non-asymptomatic. So being able to spread the virus without being sick. So that's the issue, because for the most part, like if you see video from Korea, they're like checking people's temperatures and shit. That doesn't mean anything, because you may not. There's a possibility that 80% of the people who are infected with this won't even get sick. So you can still spread it, but you may not get sick. So it sounds, I think the news is making it out to be a lot worse than it really is.
I heard that.
But who knows?
I had read that 98% of the people that get it actually recover.
Yeah, recover from it.
So who benefits by spreading false information? I mean, what's the...
Well, okay.
Why is our news is going fucking nuts? The Dow drops, Trump comes out and is like, no, that's all bullshit.
The news media, I mean, let's be realistic. If you believe that the news media in the United States is impartial and is giving you truth, you need to really sit down and take stock of
what you're being told.
Because it's 100% Obama's fault. Obama signed a law into effect that said that we can now do propaganda within the United States. So all these agencies, if you look after President Obama's tenure, all these news agencies are now giving you propaganda. They are no longer presenting you with the news. They're presenting you with their idea of the way things should be. We know that for the most part, as long as the economy is good, it doesn't matter about the president. As long as the economy is good, usually that president will get reelected. You've already had Democrats voice out in public prior to any of this say, we need the economy to crash just so we can get rid of Trump. Right? So they've already voiced this. So it's within the news media's best interest to continue to spread this information as if it is going to be a catastrophe, and get the Dow Jones to crash. Get the S&P and the Dow to crash because they need the economy to go down. Now, not to say that the economy isn't really going down. If you have half of China not working, it's going to affect supply chains to the United States, because when you have globalists like Bloomberg and you're investing all this time and energy into products that are going to come from China to the United States, it only takes a pandemic it only takes some sort of virus to shut all that down. Now, this isn't the first time this has happened over in China. Remember, they had swine and they had bird flu. They killed, I want to say it was like 5 million. They immediately slaughtered 5 million pigs when they had the swine flu outbreak. The next year they had the bird flu. They fucking flamethrower the shit out of all those birds, killed fucking millions of birds to contain those fucking diseases. So this isn't anything new, and it's not anything that is not going to not happen in the future. The question is, how much of a problem is it? So far, it looks like the really young and the really old, which is common, or people that already have a compromised immune system. So if you're a fucking heavy smoker, if you're, if you have HIV, if you have some sort of cancer, there's a possibility that because what it's doing is it's giving you pneumonia. And anytime you get pneumonia and you're elderly, compromised immune system, or very young, it's very bad. Very bad. So for the most part, people are going to be fine.
Have you seen the HIV commercials?
Yeah.
Live a normal life. You don't have to have protected sex anymore. We've got this thing you can take. It's fucking crazy.
But if I was...
And now it's not illegal. Like I thought if you knowingly had HIV and contaminated somebody else with it,
it's not illegal in California.
Yeah, they can't put you in jail anymore.
They cannot put you in jail for it.
Whereas before it would have been what? Manslaughter or...
Yeah, which is ridiculous. If you're knowingly infecting other people, you should go to jail.
Yeah.
Whether it's HIV or I don't know. You should if you're knowingly infecting other people. There's a difference between not knowing and knowing infecting people, because that's a malicious act. If you're knowingly infecting people with something, it's a malicious act. So you should be able to be charged with that. But in California, you can't be charged because California is the absolute worst state on the face of the planet.
So while your stock market's tanking, if you're in the stock market, convert to cash, hold your cash, and just wait. It's going to go lower, and you're going to be able to buy some shit, and it's going to fucking climb back up, and you're going to make a fuck ton of money.
Or get all your money right now and start buying stocks. Because these stocks are going down. They're only going to go back up, no matter what anybody says. For example, I keep hearing, and if I had a little chunk of change, I would be buying every fucking bit of this I could. I keep hearing, they keep mentioning oil prices. The oil stocks are going down, down, down. You're going to see all the big wigs. Who's the old guy that everybody loves? The Fortune 500 old guy. He's been around forever. Bought Coca-Cola, raised the price a penny.
Oh, Buffett.
Buffett. I guarantee you, Buffett right now. Warren Buffett is buying stocks in oil. He's buying all these stocks that are going down because they're just going to come back up. Once this levels off, all those stocks are going to come back up. So
all your millionaires, all your elite, they all make money in crisis.
They're gonna make. You'll see, they're all gonna make money because they're scaring you into selling these stocks. But the one thing about human beings is we keep on chugging right along. So don't pull your money out. There's no reason to. It's not worth anything if you do, anyways. So let's say this is a legit pandemic that leads to, I don't know, a 3% mortality rate, and 4 million people in the United States, or 3 million people in the United States die. The chaos that will ensue, your money's not going to be worth anything stuffed in your mattress either. So keep those stocks, because even after we stabilize and everybody's like, oh, okay, here's the vaccine for the coronavirus, everybody's good. Those stocks are still going to be worth money. It's kind of like if you'd have bought stocks in AT&T in 1950 and put them in your mattress, they'd be worth a lot more today than they were in 1950.
Who's going to be the next president?
Donald Trump is going to be the next president because the fucking Democrats have lost their ever fucking mind. I don't understand how anybody could be a Democrat. You are the party of slavers. You're the party of slavers and communists. There is no reason. I know what you're going to say. Oh, the party's flipped. The party's never flipped. You have to look at your policies. You have to look at the policies of the Democratic Party, the policies that they push forward. Even the policies that they are pushing forward right now are about slavery. Just because you're stupid and you don't understand that free means slave, yeah, they're still about slavery. Slaves got everything free too. Slaves got free medical, free housing, free clothing, free food. It's about slavery. That's what the Democratic Party is about. They're not giving you anything. When we guaranteed loans through the federal government, so you could get that stupid ass $20,000 loan so you could take a gender studies class, that was about slavery. Because now you are beholden to the government for paying that bill.
Shiny chains.
It's about slavery. They're telling you that they're gonna pay off your student loans, and you're like, woo, I'm gonna vote for them because I'm a retard. It's tax money that pays that off. So it's slavery that pays that off, no matter what. So even if you're having your fucking stupid gender studies thing and you're working at Starbucks, you're not going to be able to buy a fucking Starbucks coffee because the price of that is going to go up because we're going to have to pay for your stupid gender study class. So it's the Democratic Party is the party of slavery. It never has changed.
What is a gender study class like?
I think it's just where you go in there and there's a big, mean lesbian that yells at you about how men are bad and women are good as long as they're lesbians.
Probably eat a lot of cookies in that class.
I bet there's a good cookie eating session. I bet they eat cookies in there. Yeah.
I picture Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, I bet that's pretty close. That's pretty close.
Butch Rosie.
Or Michael Moore. I feel like Michael Moore would do a gender studies class.
Oh shit. Yeah.
But anyways, that's my Con Air take. If you want the conspiracy side of the house, I'll give you the conspiracy, and you won't like it. One of the biggest problems about chemical weapons is the delivery system. It's hard to deliver a chemical weapon because what happens when you use those chemicals, whether it's fucking anthrax or sarin gas or whatever, it's usually instantaneous when you're talking about delivery. So you have a small area that's affected. So let's say you wanted to kill a bunch of people in, well, I'll just use North Korea, for example.
North Korea don't have no problems.
Yeah, North Korea don't, because North Korea understands delivery systems. All right, so what you all need to know is 8 or 9 years ago, the World Scientist Federation organization got together, and so it's all the scientists around the world that belong to this organization, and they said, hey, we need to do a moratorium on bird flu. We need to stop studying bird flu, because every country, to include the United States, they're not studying how to fix bird flu, they're studying how to turn it into a weapon. So every country was studying to turn it into a weapon. So the World Federation organization and the fucking UN got together and they shook hands and they said, hey, nobody's going to study this shit anymore. So basically what that did is they pushed it underground. The Chinese facility is in Wuhan. That is in Wuhan where they study fucking avian bird flu and these coronaviruses. Okay, so I'll just think about that for a second. So they're covertly studying these things. The hardest thing with a weapon like that is the delivery system, because people tend to get sick really quick. You have a flu that is coming out of an area where they have a testing facility, and this flu is coming out. You can transmit it without being sick, and you can hold on to that virus for 14 days before coming down with symptoms. What does that mean? That means that I can infect a soldier or infect a person and send them to a foreign country anywhere in the world without those countries being able to identify if that person's sick. The reason why you talk about like the Princess Line, when they say that Princess cruise ship that they fucking left docked for 14 days, or they keep telling everybody 14 days, if you think you have been exposed, is because we don't have an ability to determine whether or not you have this virus. We don't. They don't take a blood test. They're not fucking doing an eye exam. You could be walking around perfectly fine, and then at day 14 fall down sick.
All they're doing is
they're
temperature guns.
They're doing temperature guns, but those are people that are already at their apex. While they're walking around before the apex, they can be spreading that disease. So my conspiracy theory is this disease is not meant to make everybody sick. The Chinese are working on a delivery system. That's all. This is just a delivery system. They need to see if they can get people far away from their own country before the infection starts to spread. And it just got out of hand.
So why is the U.S. pushing it? Where's Big Pharma and all that?
Oh, God. It's just because of the money. It's always about money.
And let's go ahead and shut down homeschool, because we're going to offer you this online school now.
Yeah.
We need to be able to just shut schools down, have a plan in 72 hours. Every kid no longer goes to school. It's all online schooling now.
You know, Bill Gates, I say 10 years. I say 10 years because I'm old and I don't have a concept of time. But it was probably 20 years ago when Bill Gates said, we're going to eliminate the school system, and everybody's going to be able to be schooled from home. Well, he's a computer guy, of course. You want to sell more computers. But if you listen to what the CDC said, the CDC just came out and they were talking on TV, and that was one of the first things she brought up was, hey, maybe we just stop doing schooling at a local level and we push everybody out home and they can do it all from they can do it all from their computers. So that the ideas are already there. Will that work? Who knows? The teacher unions will be pretty pissed off. But
what about all the ships I read this morning that all Navy vessels are supposed to self-quarantine and not come to port?
Well, it would be any Navy vessels that have been in the South China Sea, not anything that's local, just the South China Sea. They have. So hey, if you like World War Z, check this out. The North Koreans are killing anybody from China that has the virus.
So when killing anybody from China, period.
When they come across, boom, they're killing them.
Whether they have the virus or not.
Yeah, just like World War Z. So they're making sure that nobody in North Korea gets affected by this virus. And by the way, the first U.S. service member to contract this virus is in South Korea. So, Brad Pitt, you may have to fly to South Korea to get the antidote.
They came over the wall eventually.
Yeah.
What about do you find it odd that the Chinese can predict your death? Like they just publish some fucking obituaries before motherfuckers are dead?
That's the scary thing is when we talk about this virus. Now, we do have statistics outside of China. So the scary thing about anything with China is they have to control 1 billion people. Or is it 5 billion people? They got to control a shitload of people, right? So China has to control a lot of people. And the last thing the Chinese government wants is panic or a possible overthrow of the government because people think they're not doing them justice. So they control information very heavily. So the scary thing is when we talk about that province in Wuhan and 3,000 people have died, that may not be true. It could be 80,000 people because the CDC and the WHO have not been to Wuhan to verify any of this information. They are just taking it for face value what the Chinese government is saying.
They pretty well told them fuck off.
Yeah, we tried to get over there a couple of times and they're like, no. That's another reason why I believe this is a weapon, because they don't want CDC and WHO officials at ground zero to identify the fact that this came out of that facility. Anyways, so the Chinese are going to lie about everything. What most people don't know is the doctor, the Chinese doctor who found this new form of found this new Conair virus, this new form of the virus. He was on a teleconference with other doctors. So a closed session. Not talking, not out on the internet or nothing, just a closed session with other doctors. And he got on there and he was telling them all, hey, we have these people that are coming down with pneumonia. It's not the normal vectors that we're aware of. We have something new here, a new type of virus. The Chinese government had him arrested. They took him to the police station. He had to confess to, what do they call it?
Fear-mongering? Yeah,
fear-mongering. So they have a law that you cannot spread rumors. So he had to confess to fear-mongering.
Kind of like they're trying to pass right now in Virginia.
Yeah, exactly like they're trying to do in Virginia. And sign this little waiver that says he will not talk about the Conair virus, he will not discuss it, he will never mention it again, blah, blah, blah. So he signs this waiver and he goes back to work. He goes back to work and he actually catches the virus.
Or already had it.
Well, yeah, he could have actually already had it, which means, hey, all you fucking police officers that were at the police station and you were making him sign that, you probably have it now too, because he wasn't asymptomatic. He could still been spreading it. So good for you. You might not want to use that pin no more. But once he caught the virus, he realized, well, this fucking paper that I signed and the Chinese government coming after me is no big deal if this is as bad as I think it is. So he actually went public, and that's the video that you see. He's wearing the mask and he's telling everybody, hey, here's this virus. And that's the only reason why we know about it, is because of this brave Chinese doctor who went public. Otherwise, the Chinese probably would have fucking burned that whole place to the ground, and we'd never have heard about it until
they fucking might have burned it to the ground.
Yeah, until it got into the country. So, interesting. He caught the virus.
Why did they not just fucking bomb that place? Isn't that what they would use, right? A fuel oil airburst?
Here's the thing. My conspiracy theory is, if you want to know how the delivery system actually functions, you have to let it run its course. You have to let it run its course and see how fast it will spread across the United States. Across the world.
Because they blocked it all off, right?
Yeah, they definitely barricaded that city off. You can't get into that city anymore.
Do you think, is there anybody alive in there?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
There's no supplies going in, right?
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, the issue there is because of how restrictive China is.
Look at Siberia, right? Fucking, they just assumed everybody was gone in Siberia.
Yeah.
Until they're like, hey, let's go see what's out there. And there was a whole fucking...
Yeah. So, I mean...
people will survive, you know?
I'm sure that there are people still kicking it in that town.
fucking there might be the Walking Dead up in that motherfucker.
But they were welding apartment building doors shut. Who knows if any of that? That's the other problem. All the footage that you see, you don't know if that was
dudes on fire and shit.
Yeah, you don't know if that was for this or for something else, or if any of the footage is even real. There's all kinds of crazy shit that they're showing. But yeah, you have to let the virus, you have to let the delivery system out of the cage in order to figure out if the delivery system that you are trying to make works. Because that's the thing. When I say delivery system, and I believe, my conspiracy, I believe, that is what they were working on. They weren't working on the flu virus. They were working on a delivery system. How do I get this particular agent or this particular virus out of China and into a foreign enemy's country to infect the citizens of that country?
Or how do we steal the virus? Every movie they always inject themselves.
They always inject themselves. So you have this delivery system. Now, if the delivery system is successful, which you could say it has been pretty successful, they can attach any other virus to it. So they can attach any other virus to it, so they can make it more lethal. They can make it swine flu, bird flu, funky flu, whatever you want. They can make it more lethal, but now they have a delivery system. They know that they can infect people, and it's going to take about 14 days. Well, you don't even 14 days, right? 14 days is, man, you're deep in fucking the United States somewhere, So it's interesting. We'll see how it plays out. But
when we do our zombie movie, I want the virus to make zombie sluts.
They just zombie sluts,
horny zombies,
just horny zombies.
It hasn't been done.
It has not been done. It has not been done. They should make a zombie horny.
What about stripper zombies or stripper?
I can't believe that it hasn't been done. I cannot believe they have not made a zombie porno movie.
Surely there is.
Yeah, there has to be. If you've got a zombie porno movie,
it'd be called like Rotten Wood or something.
Yeah, there has to be.
Rotten Cock.
There has to be a fucking zombie porno movie.
What about zombie strippers?
So I believe
strippers. There were zombies. There were zombie strippers. Wasn't it Pamela Lee Anderson?
Yeah, I believe there is a zombie strippers.
I love a good zombie. It's good for business.
Yeah, good outbreak.
The good fucking TV show, man. Remember that? Just watching the first Walking Dead. How long ago was that? 15 years ago?
It had been a long time ago.
Seeing him wake up in the hospital and just fucking shovel through there and not come in contact with anybody, man.
I wish they would have ended that show.
It's still going, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still going in a kind of genre. But I wish they would have ended that show with Rick waking up in the hospital.
It was all a dream.
And it was
all a dream.
That his family, everybody's there, and they're like, "Oh, you're okay." That would have been fucking.
Which
awesome.
character would you be?
I would have been
Negan.
Who's Negan?
Deegan, the bad guy.
The bad guy? No, I don't. See, the problem with those shows is. There would have been It would have only took a weekend before there would have been like a fucking regiment of whoever, mixtures of the Army and Marine Corps, where they are just fucking online killing everything. It wouldn't have ended. It wouldn't be like that where you got all these bands of these individuals just trying to survive.
It wouldn't be. While those dudes were online, it would be fucking indigenous personnel fucking taking shots at them. From the far side.
It would. There would have been
the zombies wouldn't be the threat.
There would have been a
criminal
point,
element.
There would have been a point where they'd have just been like, okay, we're going to Atlanta. Everything, burn Atlanta to the ground. We're killing everything.
Atlanta burns itself to the
Yeah,
ground sometimes. I mean, they can. Those motherfuckers can burn concrete bridges down.
They love it. So,
I've just spent some time in Atlanta a couple weekends in a row, and man, I fucking like Atlanta. It's cool. There's just so much there, man. You could put a fence around a square mile of Atlanta, and drop us in there, and we could live there for a year, and we could eat at a different restaurant every fucking meal and never fucking go to the same restaurant. There's just so much shit in Atlanta. It's pretty cool. I had a good time there. So, which character would you be in Walking Dead?
I don't know. I probably would have been
Rick.
No, I wouldn't be Rick.
Why? Because he's the hero and you can't be the hero?
No, because Rick is dumb. Rick was in an M1 Abrams battle tank
And got
out of it and fucking tried to ride his horse. I mean,
and they ate the horse.
I would, I'd have been driving it wouldn't be
Did you like Negan?
The show would not be any fun with me in it because it would have just been.
Why do we do that?
It would have been just. It would have actually been like.
I like the black dude.
What's the other zombie movie that's got
28 Days?
Woody Harrelson in it?
Oh fuck yeah! Looking for the what are they? What are those things called? I hate snowballs.
Yeah, it would have been more like
Not
that.
Twinkies.
I would have been living in the White House. There would have been nobody be worried about fucking zombies. It would have been
number one, cardio.
Cardio. Yep.
Zombie sluts.
Yeah, it would have been.
I like
a good time.
I like the dude with the dreads, man. Had the tiger.
I never got that far.
They had a fucking castle. He had knights on horses and swords and shit.
When it got to the point where they couldn't live anywhere, I was like, man, this is just
shit.
Bullshit.
They were in the CDC season 2.
Yeah, this is just, I couldn't go any further. Especially like when you think about it, the prison was the best place.
Yeah.
The prison was the best place for you to live because remember CDC said that we all were infected. So that means anybody could die and turn into a zombie. So what you would do is
lock them down at night.
Every night, everybody would get locked in their individual cells. You would have two people. You would have a rotating fire watch where you would have two people that would sit in the fucking guard shack all night, waiting for morning. And in the morning, you would just walk down the cells and you'd be like, "Oh shit, yeah, we're not opening that one." And then you just let everybody out. And then you would have nobody get bit. But what do? They're always fucking dragging in fucking people who are fucked up, and then everybody gets bit, and you have to run and leave your fucking perfectly good prison.
So, what do you do if your fucking 2 fire watchmen fall asleep? What's the punishment?
Yeah, those guys get fucked up.
How fucked up?
Well, I mean, we're talking the end of times, man. So you could do whatever you want to. That's why I say 2, because if you do 1, that guy's gonna definitely fall asleep, and he's definitely gonna fall asleep, and you're all gonna be in the morning trying to locked in your goddamn cells, waiting for him to wake up.
Yeah,
that's why you do 2. And you got to rotate. You don't just leave 2 guys in there all night. Come on, guys.
They can't work a lock mechanism. Like, fucking a couple of them dudes in the cages should probably have some fucking keys.
Yeah, I mean,
in case some shit goes bad or they get taken
do it that
over
way.
at night.
Just hang the key up in each of the cells so you can. But you don't know if it's like, is it dumb zombies or is it fucking World War Z zombies where they're kind of smart?
Those aren't smart. They're just fast zombies.
Yeah,
those aren't smart zombies. The smart zombies were I Am Legend.
Yeah, I Am Legend. That's smart zombies.
They just couldn't get out like that.
Were they zombies or were they just vampires?
I think they were zombie vampires.
Because they only came out at night.
They did only come out, and they could reason. Like,
yeah,
they were taking his mannequins and his traps, and
they
set a trap for him.
The reality is the fucking lead zombie had a girlfriend, so that's kind of.
Yeah, he did have.
So yeah, watch out for mannequin traps.
So if Wuhan,
back to Wuhan.
If zombies show up tomorrow, and we gotta close the gates, how do we determine who comes in?
It's easy. It's easy to determine how you come in, and this is the problem that most Americans fall into is you have to bring something to the table. If you don't bring something to the table, I love you.
There's some books like that.
I love you and Godspeed, but if you are not willing to take the time and effort to give yourself a reason to be at the table now, then I don't care what happens at the end of days. I'll throw a fucking paint can full of beans and rice. Godspeed, hope you guys fucking make it, but you're not coming into the camp unless you have a specific skill set or a specific amount of provisions to come into the camp. If you don't have a specific skill set and you've got 10 booger eaters and you're at the fucking door with a fucking blanket and a half-drunk bottle of water, you're not coming in. I'm sorry.
Well, your booger eaters can't come anyways.
Well, I mean, if they have skill set.
You have one hell of a skill set. You're allowed one booger eater.
So
what skill sets do we want?
Well, you just got to have a good skill. A good skill set. So if any
You know what's going to happen?
Any medical profession, you should go out and become an EMT.
You know what's going to happen?
What?
That dude, the video guy, who's now working as a chef. He's the head chef up the road here, right? The video.
Oh yeah,
dude.
he's
going to be
got
knocking on the gate.
He's got all the skill
He's
sets.
going to be like, yeah, I got 2 years of plastic surgery, and while I was doing my plastic surgery intern, I did neurosurgery with a side in thoracic cardiac surgery. Yeah.
Think dentist. Go become a practicing dentist. Because
Sherman, you can come.
nobody ever thinks about that. They always think, oh, I'll be a nurse or a fucking doctor or whatever. Nobody ever thinks dentist. At the end of times, you're going to want a dentist.
We have a dentist.
Yeah, but you know,
She brings her own anesthesia.
you never know. You never know. Well, that would be nice. You never know how many dentists you're going to need. We're going to be eating some pretty rough food.
We got a girl who pulls her own teeth. Like, we have a dentist.
Yeah, but she's not coming.
And she can cook a possum.
Yeah, that's not why she's coming. She's
Knock
coming.
on this wood. We haven't heard from her in like 6. Knock on it now.
Yeah, she's coming because she knows 32 ways to cook a possum. That is a skill. If you know 32 ways to cook a possum, that's a skill. You can at the gate, as long as she's not here, you might be able to come in and cook. If you know how to fucking, I don't know, if you know how to grow carrots from scratch, you can come.
How are your carrots from scratch?
They didn't do very well.
Let's talk about survival seed banks.
I see. Here's the problem. I don't know if my failure was the survival seed bank, or if my failure was I didn't do anything with the vegetables.
What do you mean?
Meaning, you know, Nana took care of the garden because that was the point. Nana wanted a garden, and Nana took care of the garden to the point until it got hot, and then when it got hot, she couldn't go out and do it, and I kind of was like, I'm not going out there and fucking with that thing. So this year we're doing the same thing, but this year I'm gonna try and we're gonna put it all out. We're gonna put the survival seeds out. I bought all the Mylar survival seeds from, what's the company you use?
I don't fucking know, man.
Patriot Prepared, whatever. I bought
Emergency Essentials.
Emergency Essentials. So I got Emergency Essentials survival the seeds that you can buy from them.
I want to say I got 20 of those cans.
Yeah, last year I dropped a pack in the ground. A bunch of stuff grew, but it wasn't taken care of.
You know
right,
who we
so
need,
it
you
didn't.
know
So
who we need to podcast
I'm going to do it again
with?
this year. Who?
Jacob Herman.
Jacob Herman. Well, I mean, yeah.
He knows everything about fucking.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, any of this. You guys, if you know Jacob doesn't talk about this shit. He's going to talk about. He can talk politics. He can talk gun rights. He can talk anything you want to talk, which is what he's hot on right now. But if you can get Jacob talking farming, agriculture, sustainable agriculture, holy shit, man, that dude is a fucking wealth of knowledge. And you will, like, 5 hours will pass, and you're like, I haven't pissed in 5 hours. As a matter of fact, I pissed right here on the floor. I'm so busy listening to Jacob. I got an idea though, because the biplane, we can only fly it at night because I don't have a license. We hop.
Wait a minute though. Do you need a license to fly a biplane?
Well, you need a license to fly anything.
That's not true. That's not true. It depends on how if it's still canvas and wood. I don't think you need a
It's
license.
in Kentucky. I'm confident that I can land it out here on the highway. We push it up here,
Okay.
and then the next night we take it off from the road out here.
Okay.
We fly it to your house,
Okay.
and then we turn it around backwards, and we start it the next morning, and we just throw the seeds in front of the propeller, and it goes, and it plants your 20 acres.
About 20 acres. Okay. We could do that.
Would you be mad if you came out and you realized, I don't know, you hadn't seen, because you're busy, right? You're not looking at your North 40 a lot, but would you be mad if it was all covered in wildflowers?
No, fuck no.
You can get like they have all these
Yeah.
cans of so I thought it would be cool to plant some wildflowers at Mom's house, right on the bank. Because the bank had some erosion and it'd be good, butterflies and birds, and then more birds I could shoot at, when I was a kid. So I got this stuff, right? This can, and it doesn't stay there though. It goes to seed, and then the next year your whole fucking yard is covered in wildflowers. Like we had, the backyard is this tall, like you couldn't mow it. Like I'm out there with a machete chopping this shit down to get it low enough that you can kind of mow it.
Well, I tried that here. I went to Walmart and I bought all the little bags of seed.
Oh no, man! High, you got to go to High Mowing Seed. I've got some seed places that sponsor the
I
Survival
bought those
Podcast,
seeds,
man.
and in 3 places I threw it out all over the fucking place. I don't think a single flower grew. Same thing with I bought. Now this may have less to do with the fact that I'm buying them from Walmart, and more to do with the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to growing things. I bought the grapevines and the raspberry vines and shit, and I put those in the ground. And well, first off, Gina ran them over with the lawnmower, but they didn't. Nothing came out of those either.
Plastic, man. You got it. So she obviously didn't see them because shit grew up around them.
Well, no, she.
Okay, maybe not. Put plastic around that shit, right? Use the plastic as a mulch, and just have a barrier around there with some fucking plastic, and then the plant will be there. Nicole Sauce, she has a hollow roast coffee, but she does all this permaculture shit. She's kind of like TSP Tennessee, you know, whereas Jackson, Texas. She does these seminars and get-togethers and shit. She's got one coming up here like April maybe. Nick Ferguson, who does permaculture design stuff, he can look at your shit just off Google Maps and make recommendations, but he's coming through and he's going to be doing stops. And if he's in the area, I think it's like $1,000. If he has to travel to you, I think it's $2,000. But he'll come in and go, all right, here's your water collection. This is where you need to put this. This is what you need to. He's going to come in here and go, why did you guys do any of this shit?
No, he's not. He's going to be like, man, where'd you get all this free mulch?
Yeah, he's going to be impressed. Yeah, I think he's going to be super impressed with the mulch.
The mulch. He's going to be like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an option, though. Those guys are going to be like here. I mean, Nicole's, she's wanting to come by several times. She just wants to come by on the weekends, and we're fucking busy doing shit all the time. But we can get somebody that really knows that shit out there. Because, I mean, we talk to farmers, and they're like, oh, yeah, the total fix, Monsanto, man.
Yeah,
Monsanto. Round this whole motherfucker up.
Round it up.
Plant some soybeans. We'll bring the big fucking bug-looking thing out, and we'll spray it 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
And then you'll have some soybeans you can't eat.
Yeah.
That's the answer. I mean,
soybean and corn. Soybean and corn you can't eat because everybody's turning it into fuel.
8 gallons of diesel to produce 1 gallon of ethanol.
Yep.
Fucking crazy.
That is crazy. Actually.
It's like your electric car. I mean, electric car seems nice.
Until you got to hook it to a generator.
If you want to wear a, what's that thing you wear around a scarf?
Scarf.
With a pink polo shirt and some fucking ugly ass boat shoes with no socks, you might as well wear fucking Crocs. If you want to be in that club, you got to have the fucking electric car.
I think Elon is changing that though. His cars are a little.
He's giving them to rockers now.
Yeah,
giving them away to rockers.
Making those cars cooler.
Did you see McJagger's like? McJagger comes to the United States, gets his heart valve transplant, and he makes a statement how that the United States should have fucking social health care.
Yeah, I mean it's so funny when you have celebrities who are making millions and millions of dollars, especially somebody like Mick Jagger because he's not a U.S. citizen. When you think about it, Mick Jagger doesn't exist without the United States. He doesn't exist. If he wasn't popular, Mick Jagger is more popular here than he is over there. So he doesn't exist without us.
Is he the last living Beatle?
Yeah, I believe he is the last. I think he is the last living Beatle, or it might be Ringo. I don't know.
Tell the Beatles story. That's a fucking good story. Nobody liked the Beatles. Nobody knew who the Beatles were. The Beatles built their own hype.
Yeah, so the Beatles, a lot of people don't know this, is the Beatles manager, he was very big into Nazi propaganda. Really, really like got into studying Nazi propaganda. So there's a lot of things that you can do to trick people as far as, you know, what they were doing in Germany at that time, because Goebbels and all them were the fucking masters of mass propaganda. And so there's a way where you can trick people into thinking that something is more popular than it really is. And what they would do is, when they came to the United States, they would go to venues and they would sell more tickets than there were seats at the venue. So if there was, you know, if it was a 500, you know, because we didn't have big arenas back then, but if it was a 500 seat venue, they would sell 700 tickets. So when people got there, it created that hysteria that there was no seats that you had to hurry. And the other thing they did is when you see all those girls screaming and going bananas in the front,
Booth babes.
those were all paid for. They would pay those people to do that so that it would get the hype going, so everybody would think, oh, this is the most popular thing. It's the same shit they do now. It's kind of like John was just talking about the Tesla. And if you go on, Instagram or any of that, you see all these skaters and all these influencers that are fucking cruising around in new cars or whatever. That's to get you to think that they bought them, but they're not buying them. Tesla's giving it to them. It's the same thing with, when you see like the dudes doing makeup and shit like that, they're getting all that shit for free because they know that you see that and you go, oh fuck, if fucking Donnie Brasco's got that car, I gotta get one too. It's just
Donnie Brasco. Is that a real person?
No, he's not a real person. He's a character in a movie.
What kind of influencer would you be?
A terrible one?
Your Instagram page is pretty good.
No, it's not as, it doesn't pop as well as I would think it would.
Have you seen it?
Well, yeah.
Jeff doesn't know he has an Instagram page. I've been loading to Jeff's Instagram for like a year. Do you want your Instagram page?
No, I don't. You use it however you feel fit.
Go find hashtag Scully1canobi.
Scully1canobi, yeah. So, I mean, that's all it is just people trying to manipulate you. But they did that very heavily for the Beatles, and that's what all the hype was.
You always hear Hitler stuff, right? Because there's so much out there on him. But what you don't ever hear is why there is so much out there on him. He had a whole they were cutting edge when they were out there goose stepping and doing all their shit, and they had all those cars in convoy. They had a fucking whole thing that hang off the front of the car with a cameraman, and there'd be a dude down by the front wheel videotaping all that shit.
I can't think of her name. Is out here.
I have no fucking idea. Okay.
All right. Hey,
right,
I'll see you
that's
guys
it.
later.
Sorry.
Turn on.
I don't know how you do that anymore.